Let's begin something nice and short on the parsha. A very quick thought, and then we'll dive back into our kitchens, the wonderful world of Bishul on Shabbos, and everything that is within it. One incredibly simple thought: the Nesiim. The Nesiim, we all know, when it came to donating towards the Mishkan, they said, I'll wait. And at the end, whatever's left, we'll take care of. We know, unfortunately, at the end, there was nothing left. And therefore, they felt bad. Ended up being, there was a matana from Shemayim. And they brought the stones for the ephod, for the choshen. We actually spoke about the fact that even though those were the most expensive and exquisite items, but because they were brought without any effort, it was a present from Hashem. It's listed last, because what matters is the effort. What matters is not necessarily the cost, the dollar value, but how much did you try? But in this week's parsha, when the Nesiim are listed, they're missing a letter from their name. There's no Yud. And the reason there's no Yud is a little bit of a punishment that you were slow, you were lazy, you were tardy. Therefore, there's no Yud listed. But we know that when eventually the day of the inauguration comes, the Nesiim brought many, many karbanos. So Rashi says that the reason there's no Yud is because it's this punishment. But the question is, the Nesiim then brought all the karbanos at the inauguration. So did they do tshuva? Did they make amends? Were they accepted back? In our parshas, we don't find anything. So we have to wait a little bit. When we get to Parshas Nasai, what do we find? We find so many psukim, 89 psukim, almost repetitive psukim of what each and every Nasi brought. Fascinating. The mistake that they made, they lost one letter from the name. And it was a bad mistake. They waited. They didn't donate. And then when they did tshuva, when they brought the karbanos, what did they get? 89 psukim, again and again, of how much they brought. Each and every nasi getting his own name, even though it was almost an identical karban. So the lesson is obvious, that all it takes sometimes, it could be we make a mistake. Yes, there's something wrong. But then when we want to be better, when we come back to Hashem, when we want to make amends, when the next time we're in that situation, we don't succumb, we get so much more. Their punishment was one little yud missing. Their benefit, the reward that they got, was 89 full psukim, all about the Nesiim. So the lesson is obvious through our life. Of course, we make mistakes. And the answer is to never give up. The answer is that even if one falls, and the Nesiim was a pretty bad mistake. If you think about it, they could have been, one would say, you know what, I'm done. I messed up. What did I do? We missed the whole boat, the Nesiim could have felt. Everyone's donating, and we felt we'll wait. But then they got up and they said no. When it comes to dedication, they're all going to bring their karbanos, their special karbanos. And the Torah says, you got up, and you did something a little bit better. Now we're going to list your name again and again in so many psukim. So, Psiyata Deshmaya, the answer is to never despair, to always feel, irregardless of how many times we might have fallen, or how many different situations we might have succumbed to, we should always realize that the loss is never as much as the gain that we'll get when we do the right thing, when we turn back to Hashem, and always to connect it back to halacha. The answer is obvious. We might have spent our whole lives, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, maybe more, doing something. And then we realize, oh boy, it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I feel bad. So what's the answer? So you do it right the next time. And what does Hashem tell you? Hashem says you made a mistake, you lost one little yud. But then you did it right. Then you realized, oh wow, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to change. I'm going to be better. Countless psukim are written. The reward from heaven is immense, is immeasurable. when one realizes they made a mistake and wants to do something better.